Welcome everyone, this is FTC and this is my pre-game coverage of Losers Bracket number 13, ZX Project versus LightningHax. As you will all see, I'm changing my format a bit because the last time I did a pre-game analysis, it had a huge chart with numbers on it that nobody could see. So I'm going to use more visual means this time. So above is 6 different ways that you can win a battle. These are not the only ones, but these I figure are the major ones, and I grouped several sub-strategies into this to have it make more sense. HP is simply healing, resurrection, damage split, in general, having high HP units and not getting them killed. Damage, as well, dealing damage. There's nothing much else to say there. Status is stuff like Frog, Charm, Don't Act, that kind of stuff. Luck is anything that the RNG controls that you don't control, or something that the AI will not intentionally use but has a nice secondary effect, like double shot, like Axe Proc, like Geomancy's status procs. That's luck, or evasion. Sync is synchronization, is how well your team is synchronized with itself. In other words, if your team is well synchronized, it moves together, its compats are set up in a good way so that way you can get decent status magics off yourself, you tend to haste yourself, and you may have A save or speed save or magic song or something. That's called synchronization. AI is how well did you exploit the AI to do what you wanted it to do. In other words, is your hasted unit the slowest unit, or is it a nice speed distribution so that way your hasted unit can get haste or haste 2 off? If it's a speed tie, is it last? In other words, that's just for haste. If it's, say, weapon break, do you not do too much damage on your primary weapon, so you do weapon break more? Does your unit have concentrate? That kind of stuff. Okay, and now let's introduce the coloring scheme. If it's darker, it means that I think the second player has a better chance at exploiting this technique, and if it's lighter, that means I think the first player does. If it's red, I think they're even. So, considering that these two squads don't deal too much damage to each other, HP should be the primary focus here. And HP definitely favors, I would argue, LightningHax. Even though ZX Project has a 537 HP Knight, that Knight can't heal himself unless it uses Cheer Up on himself. And the primary factor is this. ZX Project has 3 units capable of resurrection, but only 2 units capable of actually healing. And out of those 3 units of resurrection, 2 of them must stand next to somebody, which means that they can't actually heal and not get strafed by the summoner. Meanwhile, if you look at this squad, if you look at player 2, you have the samurai, which heals at close range and resurrects at close range, but you have the summoner, which resurrects and heals at far range, and does it off short charge, which is 2 CTR, which means it's gonna come off, and the knight, which heals with white magic and resurrects with white magic. So I would argue that the primary factor here is who can tank better, and I would argue that goes to LightningHax. However, everything else seems to favor ZX Project. ZX Project does more damage. That monk does 300 neutral compat between attack up and martial arts and 15 PA, but because of bad compat, he can't deal 300 except to the summoner, but he can deal a good amount but he can deal around 220 to everybody else. And of course, that knight on his team does 182, which is a good amount as well. However, this is only a slight advantage because those are fixed weapons that will always deal that much damage. It's not that LightningHax doesn't have units capable of doing that too. That summoner has a short charged Cyclops, and if that goes off on the chemist, that's like 240 something. That's a lot still. And the archer has temporal strike, which gets rid of haste. And since the chemist has haste and will be casting it, if temporal strike hits, that's going to be very, very painful even to that knight. Status, of course, also favors ZX Project, but not by much, and it's mostly just because of charm on the thief, because obviously the only other form of status he has is stop and don't move, and don't move from the time mage isn't going to hit the knight on LightningHax's team, because the knight has a defense armlet which stops don't move, and stop won't work on the samurai because samurai has, no sorry, it won't work on the archer because the archer has black costume. And yeah, Luck, however, definitely favors ZX Project because first of all, he has counter flood. Second of all, no, it's just counter flood mostly. And yeah, synchronization. Both squads are not well synchronized. The thief has no movement ability, which is strange. And the knight has, I think, throw stone, which is good, which is actually going to be spammed a lot if his MP runs out, because throw stone is a ranged attack, and the AI favors ranged attacks over melee. But if you look at LightningHax's squad, you have a samurai that doesn't have draw out, which means that he can't heal the archer who has a black costume, and you have a knight that has 6 move. I mean, that could be charging 6 CTR spells like Raise 2 without short charge. And it also has Cure 2, even though she doesn't cure for much. And of course, she doesn't have a sword, when a sword would likely deal much more damage than a bag. And then of course the AI. The AI here slightly favors ZX Project only because that thief's gun doesn't actually deal that much damage, so, and it has 8 range, so it's much more likely to break stuff than actually deal damage, which is good, but he has to follow it up with damage for that to mean anything. So let's see how this actually turns out. Ready? Welcome to match 13 of the losers bracket. ZX Project versus LightningHax. ZX Project has Underdog the Thief, which breaks stuff, North Star the Monk, which is meant for healing and damage, Backpack the Chemist, which is mostly haste and other supports, mostly resurrection from Phoenix down, and Rasputin the Knight, who's there to tank and occasionally revive. And LightningHax's squad, you have the Samurai. Again, this thing has no drawouts whatsoever. All it does is item. No one the Marksman, which is meant to just snipe stuff at range and break equipments. Nobody the Summoner, which does AoE damage, which has anti-sandbagging. It also has only Angel Song, which is kind of strange, but okay. Then we have Broken the Knight, who has Dragon Spear and Resurrections. So, their map will be taking place on Checkerboard Stairs, the last map. Fairly plain map, if you ask me. The hackers should remake this map as something else for the next AI tournament. Now, much is being done, so we can just talk about things in general. If speed save does go off too many times on that archer, and 3 units are hasty, okay. The question now is this: will that archer get away with using a temporal strike? If it does, somebody's gonna die. Painfully. But a regular attack was enough in this case. Notice how the knight chose to cast Wall over Cures. This is another problem with the AI. Unless every single unit in the range of Cure can be healed, it will favor Wall or Kiyomori over Murasame. It's the same problem, and this is why a lot of the teams did not have Wall on their white mages, or Kiyomori on their draw out users. Precisely this reason. Though of course, it's only a problem when your unit has really low HP left and needs to be healing, but instead is protected and killed anyways. Already that knight is using Throwstone over something more intelligent. Ooh, HP restore. So it's still anyone's game, though I'd argue a slight advantage definitely exists for LightningHax, simply because there's 1 unit down, and that unit's not going to get up anytime soon. In the sense that she can easily be put down. all the summoner needs to do is walk over and charge another spell. This time Odin, because he was running low on MP, but, I mean, he was running low on MP, but, yeah, that monk is going down. No, he's not, because this match really is who can tank better than the other team. Now that summoner is out of MP, the thief should be getting more time to do things. Or at least out of MP for offense. He still has some for defense. Okay, the archer's getting his speed saves. Whether this makes a difference is unknown. Oh, the monk isn't dead? Well, I can't even tell from this angle. Okay, so the summoner I think now has only his base HP left. Yeah, the monk is finished. I haven't seen it move in a while. Pretty much, both sides are now just breaking each other's stuff and seeing who's gonna die first. Okay, more wall, so... And then they try gunshots. There's literally... And then an HP restore goes off for virtually nothing. Okay, the knight has more MP to use. She'll just start spamming wall again. Okay, Angel Song. Clearly, that summoner needs to rebuild his MP reserves and weapon break, but then again, it's a staff. Well, it's not like it means much. Okay, so that summoner's MP is pretty much full enough to start attacking again. Yeah, that summoner's now dead. Only to come back up. So... And only to go back down. So it's 3-on-3 and neither side has a clear advantage here. Well, I will say that that one resurrector and one healer on namely the monk for ZX Project has gone down for good. That could matter, and that thief just walked into Cyclops. Wow. Actually, no, but damage is what puts an end to that summoner. So pretty much, both sides are just dependent on their ranged units to deal damage, and there's nothing else going on. Hopefully, the archer's not in range and won't come into range anytime soon. Ooh, okay, this could change the battle a bit. The Charmed Samurai walks over and nearly kills the archer. Yeah, that could definitely change the battle a bit. Summoner goes back up and uses Moogle on units. Okay, so finally the charm is broken. But the archer is now in a very bad state, and the summoner is really in no better condition. So even though it's 4v3, okay, using Don't Move on a mage like that isn't really that smart. Because he's not going to be brought down immediately. But the mage can still charge stuff like Moogle or Cyclops or whatever. However, this reduction to basic MP is gonna hurt basic HP is gonna hurt because it makes them vulnerable to attacks, but only if they can be hurt by it. In other words, the only attacker worth noting on that other squad is the knight. Anything else doesn't count. Well, the thief has a gun too, which could hurt, but it's really only good against resurrected units. Against any unit that still has more than 100 health, that's the only thing that's going to be a threat is the knight. Oh, and another samurai charm. Okay, archer goes down again. This is bad for LightningHax because, well, that charged samurai is probably the best damage dealer on the squad, and won't be using item to heal his friends anymore. Instead, he'll be attacking, and oh, that should have ended the match already, but it didn't. And choose the only spell she can get off in time before she would get mid-charged. We're just watching. Okay, and wow, re-raise went off again. But this time she has even less CT than before. And surprisingly, they break charm off that samurai, which probably is not intelligent, in fact. Because that samurai can still deal damage. And haste 2 now hits everyone, including the summoner. And the summoner uses fairy. Oh wow, so it's back to 3v3 again. Just when things should have been lost for LightningHax, he comes back off of very, very lucky re-raises. Literally, it's, I have the next turn. And apparently, because of bad compat, she can't even kill that chemist. And the samurai is charmed again. 345% hits. Completely ridiculous, but this match has gone on long enough. And the samurai heals himself and keeps going. Everyone is not hasted anymore. Okay, this should end now. Unless weird dragon spirit activity happens again. Okay, so all that's left is a charmed samurai that's gonna get killed. But apparently killing that samurai is harder than it looks. Okay, but those 3 units have not died yet at all. They're just waiting to break charm and then finish the samurai. She only has 160 health left anyhow. Won't be difficult. Yep, and it's over. Hello, this is FTC and this is round 2 of ZX Project versus LightningHax. In the first round, we saw ZX Project win literally by first destroying 1 unit on both sides. So he lost his monk, which was his heaviest damage unit, and but took out but kept taking down the summoner, which was the heaviest damage unit on LightningHax's squad. And but what clinched it for him was charm, which defeated the summoner. Well, not summoner, which took over the heart of the samurai, which was the only damage dealer left on LightningHax's team, which proceeded to then destroy everything else that was left. Since it didn't have the bad compat problem, the other units did. Let's see if that repeats itself on Grog Hill. Okay. This map, both sides will charge straight into each other, so it's a bit more smallish than it is medium. Oh, and the thief goes for a direct attack this time, I suspect because there's less distance between them. Okay, the samurai goes up, and double shots and kills the monk. Okay. So the biggest damage dealer is already gone, and it looks like others are soon to follow. Wall's probably on that summoner, I think. Now, that monk probably could have killed that summoner with a mid-charge, but since he was wounded, he used Kiyomori. And notice he used Kiyomori because that chemist was not wounded, rather than Chakra, but the chemist dies anyways. Huh. Someone forgot to remove traps from this map, eh? Anyhow, the thief is just going to take higher ground, as the ranged weapon mechanic tells the AI to do. And, wow, 14 damage and then countered for 16. It's not like either side's really being serious about this. Ooh, HP restored. So that summoner's not gonna die, even when he should have died. Okay, so stop stops 2 units. Except that summoner being stopped is far more critical than the chemist being stopped. Yes, the chemist is probably the most reliable healer on her, on ZX Project Squad, but that summoner is stopped while charging, and that summoner is the only thing that deals any amount of damage to the rest of the squad. So like that, he goes down. Because of the AI, it wouldn't even kill a stopped chemist. It would prefer to save a summoner that, to be honest, has proven a liability in the first match. Okay, we're gonna get mid-charged again. Ooh, and Charm goes off again. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so all of ZX Project Squad is back up, and that summoner gets mid-charged again. Wow. I think having the same speed as a monk is what's causing this problem. However, eventually what's going to happen is that because the knight's one slower, the knight eventually is going to get mid-charged by that monk too. Okay, so most of the squad is regened, and that samurai is spending his time healing the enemy squad. However, those guys make very good summoner bait if they could ever, well, get hit by the summoner. But the summoner, of course, is the only thing that doesn't have back compat with the monk, and goes down. One shot. Yeah. Notice how there's summoner is brought up. Will the monk get a turn? No. The monk will, but it probably won't matter now because the samurai can now attack. Okay, that chemist is going down, finally. Except that Earth Flash heals him, so not really. Wow. Okay, that archer probably will never be revived. Oh no, the samurai is actually trying to. Okay, the thief hasn't gone down yet, but she will if damage split goes off again. I'm surprised. Okay, again, the mid-charge. Notice, short charge off of Cyclops is not enough. And because... no, she wasn't in line of sight. Otherwise, I'm surprised why that didn't just kill. And they're only moving to the haste range, I think. Because of the way the AI works. Oh wow, okay. So, the knight is finally down. She's re-raised, but she's down. The thief can't do anything from that position. And now it's just 4v2, except the 2 units really aren't doing much. Okay, so all of ZX Project's units are back to health, but the same can't be said for his opponent. I think he has this one. Slowly but surely, he's gonna win this. He didn't even need counter flood. Huh. strange. Why didn't he go for the knight? The knight had lower HP, I think. Oh no, I was looking at the samurai's HP. Never mind. So it's just a matter of slowly getting encircled and destroyed by the enemy. There's little left to say, really. Ooh, and the samurai is charmed, which means they won't attack him until the charm is about to wear off. Okay, so we just sit here and wait. While the samurai busily fixes up the rest of their squad. Okay, so the samurai has close to enough. This should be over already. Okay. We're just gonna strip him completely bare. Okay, he lost, so ZX Project advances and LightningHax doesn't.